Good morning, everyone, to this meeting of League City Toastmasters. I'm glad that each of you are here today. We've got a lot of things to do today. I know we have an induction for at least one, if not two new members. We also are going to do an installation ceremony for a new officer. And we have at least two, and I think maybe as many as 3 speeches planned for today. So we've got a lot of ground to cover. So with that, let's just do some very, very brief introductions. I'll kick it off. And just by example, what I want people to do is give us your name and your role or your title with Toastmasters. And then that's just it. We're going to move quickly. So my name is Scott Livingston. I'm the president of League City Toastmasters. Let's go to Megan.
Good morning, everyone. I'm Megan Lemaster, and I'm the Vice President of Membership.
Thank you, Megan. Hey, Kelly, how about you?
Hi there, I'm Kelly King, and I have been on sabbatical, but I am the Vice President of Public Relations.
All right. Welcome, Kelly. Glad you're here. And other officers, I believe Elizabeth, please introduce yourself.
I'm Elizabeth Ruiz, Sergeant at Arms, as well as coach of League City Toastmasters. Thank you.
All right. Welcome, Elizabeth. And then Spencer, please introduce yourself.
Good morning, everybody. I'm Spencer Heilig, and today I'm going to be fulfilling the role of grammarian and also running the table topics.
Fantastic. Thank you, Spencer. Okay, Renee.
Good morning. I'm Renee Griffin, and I am the secretary of the League City Toastmasters. Today, I will be taking the minutes of the meeting.
All right. Ready to go. That's what we like. Thank you, Renee. Welcome. And then let's introduce a couple of guests. Sonia, welcome.
Hi, my name is Sonia Philip. I am a new member.
All right. That's right. That's right. She's going to be one of our new members that is inducted today. So welcome, Sonia. We're glad you're here.
Thank you.
And we also have Suzanne Ricketts. I understand you're a guest today. Welcome, Suzanne.
Yes, sir. Thank you so much. Glad to be here and just taking all this in. So very interested. I've been wanting to do this for a while and just haven't gotten the ball rolling. So I'm super excited to just sit and soak in all the wisdom and everything you guys have. So looking forward to it.
Fantastic. We're glad you're here. And I believe, Kelly, I believe you're the one that welcomed or brought Suzanne as a guest this morning. Is that correct, Kelly?
Yes, she's a dear friend of mine. I'm very, very grateful that she was able to join us. And I think she's going to learn some things, and she's definitely going to teach us some things too. So I'm excited.
Awesome. Well, that's what this club's all about. We had a couple of other people that have recently joined us. I see Aaron. Aaron, we're doing names and titles. Are you still there, Aaron?
Yes, I'm sorry. I tried to use some new equipment and it didn't work, so I had to use my backup system.
Okay. So guys, this is Aaron Peshek, and he's our club treasurer. Thank you, Aaron. I'm glad you're here. And then Noel, welcome. We're doing names, and as a guest, that's pretty much all you'd say. But are you there, Alex?
Yes, I am.
All right. So this is now. So just introduce yourself, Alex. Just give us your name and tell us your title for the city of League City. How about that?
Not a problem. I'm Alex Noel. I'm the floodplain coordinator for League City. I've been doing it about 5-6 years.
All right, fantastic. Okay, guys, I'm glad you're all here. What I'm going to do is I'm going to show you something called Toastmasters Promise, okay? And let me do a screen share. And then after this, we're going to move quickly into new member induction, okay? And then after that, we're going to jump into our meeting. Give me half a second to find the right button. I got a lot of things open on my tabletop here. Okay, so hopefully you guys can see this document that we call a Toastmasters Promise. As a member of Toastmasters International and our club, we promise to attend club meetings regularly, to prepare all of our projects to the best of our ability, basing them on the Toastmasters education program. We promise to prepare for and fulfill meeting assignments. We promise to provide fellow members with helpful, constructive evaluations. We're here to help one another. We promise to help the club maintain the positive, friendly environment necessary for all members to learn and grow. We promise to serve this club, our club, as an officer when called upon to do so. We promise to treat our fellow club members and our guests with respect and courtesy. We promise to bring guests to club meetings so that they can see the benefits that Toastmasters membership offers. We promise to adhere to the guidelines and rules for all Toastmasters education and recognition programs. We also promise to act within Toastmasters core values of an integrity, respect, service, and excellence during the conduct of all Toastmasters activities. With that, I'd like to hand the podium over to Megan. I believe you're going to do an induction ceremony for 2 of our newest members. Welcome to the podium, Megan.
Thank you, Toastmaster Livingston. And I am inducting Sonia and Alex this morning, I believe. Okay.
Right.
All right. Membership in Toastmasters is a privilege, and the only way to gain the benefits of our program is to actively participate. Do you, Sonia and Alex, promise to be active members of this club, to attend meetings regularly, and prepare fully for your duties?
I do.
I do.
Do you also promise to fulfill the other points in the Toastmasters promise?
I do.
I do.
Do you, the members of the League City Toastmasters, promise to support Sonia and Alex as they work the Toastmasters program?
Yes.
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 It is my pleasure to declare you installed as members of the League City Toastmasters.
Ooh,
Welcome.
thank
Yay.
you. Yoo-hoo, thank you. Yeah. Thank you.
Okay, we're glad that you guys have joined. I know that Sonia, let's see, Sonia, you've been part of the City of League City for how long?
Well, I just started March of this year,
Okay.
in the middle of the pandemic.
Oh my. Well,
Yeah.
welcome. We're glad you're here. I think you'll learn
Yeah.
a lot in Toastmasters. And Alex, we're glad you're here as well. I knew Alex when he was in LaPorte, and of course I've known he's been here for a few years in League City. We're glad to have both of you with us here this morning. Just before we kick off the meeting, in terms of our regular schedule, I'm getting ready to give it over to the Toastmaster, but one comment. I need 5 minutes at the end of our meeting today to formally install Miss Renee Griffin as our club secretary. So everybody just please keep that in mind. I just need 5 minutes at the end today to do that. With that, I'll hand the meeting over to our Toastmaster of the day, which is Elizabeth. Welcome, Elizabeth.
Thank you so much, Mr. President and fellow Toastmasters and guests. Thank you again, Scott, for that wonderful introduction. As Toastmaster of the Day, it is my responsibility to introduce today's speakers. After the speeches have concluded, I will ask for the timer's report, request ballots to be passed to the vote counter, introduce the general evaluator, ask the awe counter for their report, ask the grammarian for their report, and call on the vote counter for results. I will then return control of the meeting to the president before we conclude today. Before we do start, I need to find out, I see on our agenda, evaluator number 1 is not filled in. We have evaluator 2 as Aaron and evaluator 3 as Renee. Is that still correct? We have speaker 3 as Darcia, speaker 2 as Scott, and speaker 1 as Kelly. Do we have any volunteers for evaluator 1 to evaluate Kelly's speech?
I'm not speaking today.
Okay, I will remove you from the agenda as speaker number 1. Okay.
I reached out last night to Darcia because in reading the instructions, I'm supposed to understand what her project is and her goals and objectives, but I didn't hear back.
Okay, for Renee, you are evaluator 3, and for speaker 3, it is Darcia. Darcia, are you speaking today?
I think she's
I do
here
not
today.
see Darcia here.
Right.
Right.
Okay, I will remove Darcia from speaker 3.
Can you hear me?
Yes, Renee.
Yes. Okay, so Renee and Aaron, so we have just one speaker today, which is Scott Livingston. And therefore, we have two evaluators, Aaron and Renee. And usually the way it goes is it goes up. So Aaron is evaluator 2. Therefore, Aaron, you'll be evaluating Scott. Are you okay with that?
Yes, I'm ready. I've got
Okay.
Scott's form.
Okay, Darcia, Renee, I'm removing you as evaluator 3. Okay, let's get this started. Okay. Before I introduce the speakers, I need to call on the counter, the timer, and the grammarian. I would like to call on the timer so we can have timing reports.
Thanks, Madam Toastmaster, and welcome fellow Toastmasters and guests. So as timer, I will time the table topics, speakers, formal speeches, and evaluators. I will also alert each speaker to the time they have left using the green, yellow, and red cards. I can't change my background, so I will actually use the old school yellow, green, and red background or cards to mark your time. And then at the end of each segment, I believe I'll provide a report on the timings. It's for table topics. It's 1 minute. I'll raise the green card. 1 minute, 30 seconds is yellow, and 2 minutes for red. Prepared speeches, 5 to 7 minutes, 5 green, 6 yellow, 7 red. Then for evaluations is 2 minutes for green, 2.5 minutes for yellow, and 3 minutes for the red card. And there's 30 seconds of grace period at the end when the red card is shown. Thank you. Back to you, Madam Toastmaster.
Excellent, thank you. I will now call on the counter, and I'm the counter. My role as counter is to note words and sounds used as a crutch or pause, filler by anyone who speaks during the meeting. The use of interjections such as and, well, but, so, like, you know, as well as like, or tongue clicks will be tallied. I will also note double clutches, which are words or phrases that are repeated. For example, I, or this means, this means. These injections generally disrupt the flow of speech and make the speech less interesting. At the end of the meeting, I will report the number of times that each speaker used these expressions. Thank you. I'd also like to call on the ballot counter. May we have the responsibilities for the ballot counter? Do we have a ballot counter? Okay, who would like to be ballot counter today?
Well, now it's Kelly on the agenda. Kelly, can you be our ballot counter today?
I
since you are
can.
here?
Sorry,
Okay.
did not
That's
know
okay.
that. Hang on. Let me pull up the. Madam Toastmaster, would you mind reading? Do you have it in front of you? I don't see.
Yes.
Thank you.
Okay. For Kelly's role of ballot counter, she will be collecting and counting ballots submitted by members and guests for best speaker, best table topic speaker, and best evaluator. You will be asked to vote after each segment of the meeting. Please use the ballots provided. Scott will either show a poll. If the poll is not prepared, then you will write or type the name of the speaker you feel was best in the various categories and place your vote to a direct message to Kelly, our ballot counter. So in case there should be a tie, the ballot counter never announces that there was a tie. They will silently cast a vote to break the tie. All members and guests are encouraged to vote at the end of the meeting or when called upon. Kelly will announce the winners. Thank you.
And thank you.
Okay. If anyone needs roles, scripts, you can find them in the handbook called A Toastmaster Wears Many Hats. It can be downloaded from Toastmasters International website. It's also on our District 56 website, and our Vice President of Membership can send that to you at any time.
Hey, also
Also-
add those in the invite for every meeting. If you guys look at the invite, a lot of all those are attached as well.
Oh,
And also every role should be confirmed, and our Vice President of Education sends out the agenda at least a week in advance where each member should be confirming their role. So we don't need to go through role assignments during the meeting times. Well, I would love to introduce our first speaker of the day, Scott. And let me pull up. Thank you, Scott, for filling in your pathways. Scott is our president of League City Toastmasters. His pathways is dynamic leadership. He's on level 2, and he has chosen to do the introduction to Toastmasters mentoring. It is a 5 to 7 minute speech. His speech title is Important Lessons That I Learned from Mentors in India. In this speech today, Scott will share 8 of the most important lessons that he learned from his mentors in India and 5 of the most effective qualities of a good mentor. Scott Livingston, speaker 1, Scott Livingston.
Hey, sorry to interrupt real quick, but I just wanted to introduce the word of the day.
Spencer, we will do word of the day during the I part of the pie. The word of the day is always announced right before impromptu speeches.
Okay, sounds good. Thank you.
It's okay. Thank you. If you look at the agenda, it'll show that the word of the day is always announced during table topics. Okay, Scott, it's all yours.
Yes, it's gonna give me just a second here. I'm having computer issues. I have no idea what's going on, but my computer is blitzing out. That's really odd. Give me half a second. This
Okay.
I've never seen it doing what it's doing.
Okay, that's okay. Does anyone need me to attach anything in our chat while Scott's preparing? Does anyone need any scripts or the Toastmaster Wears Many Hats guide or our agenda? I can include that.
could I get a description again of Scott's topic so I can put that into the minutes? What he learned from mentors in India.
Yes, it is all in the agenda. I'll download the agenda into a PDF and I'll attach it.
Okay, I'm sorry, because I'm looking at the agenda on the website. I apologize for the duplication. I'll get it from the agenda.
I can, I'll go ahead and attach the agenda. Scott, let us know when you're ready.
Yes, and I may try to go completely without notes. I do not understand what my system is doing.
That's even better. That way we get to see you the whole time.
Yeah, right. Well, anyways, it's
under fire.
Yes. Well, give me 10 more seconds. Let me see if I can pull this up. If not, I'll just completely wing it.
And
but
while,
it looks like I'm gonna have to reboot my computer. So I guess you're gonna get the freewheeling version.
Okay, I'm going to upload the agenda right now in our chat, which I just did.
Okay. And then, like I said, I'm going to do a freewheeling, winging it. See how much of my speech I remember.
I'm also uploading a Toastmaster Wears Many Hats. Every single role will tell you in this guidebook what to do before, during, and after a meeting, including speakers.
and while we're waiting on Scott to start, if everybody would give me their best smile, I'm going to take a screenshot for our Facebook page.
Okay.
Okay, so you guys still waiting for me?
Yes.
All right, I'm gonna get started. It's not gonna work. So, okay. Thank you, Toastmaster members and guests. Thank you for this opportunity to speak this morning, talk about some of the lessons I learned from my mentors in India. My wife and I went to India twice. We were in India from 1999 to 2001, and then again from 2009 until 2012. During each one of those experiences in India, in which we lived in India for multiple years at a time, we had mentors that were largely comprised of our team members from the United States, but those mentors in many respects also were comprised of our national partners and the local leaders of the villages in which we were working. And while we were there, we learned a lot of life's lessons that I'd like to share with you this morning. One of the things is the importance of doing something of significant value and of eternal consequence. And what I mean by that is we only live once. We want to make life worthwhile, significant, and meaningful. And the way that we do that is that we focus on others rather than ourselves, and we do things that will live beyond our own lives. The other thing as well is that we create and or set up projects or movements that are self-sustainable, that impact individuals deeply. And if these things are set up correctly, that these movements impact large numbers of individuals deeply. When we were in India, one of the things that we did, so that's the first thing, is to do things of eternal consequence. So the second thing is that when we were in India, we had projects, and we had 9 or 10 types of development projects. We had everything from stitching training to animal husbandry. We had fertilizer banks. We had orphanages. We had schools. We had health camps. We had relief camps. We had self-help groups. We had leadership development as well. And through all these programs, through all these projects, one of the things that we learned is the importance of training local leadership, because local leadership translates into local ownership. And that's one of the, again, second most important things we learned is the importance of local leadership, because if they're not engaged, they won't take care of the project, they won't maintain the project, and they'll just let the project fall into disrepair. The third thing is to use local resources. So for example, we might use seed capital from the United States or from India in this example to get a project started, but it's important that local resources, funds, and budgets are in place to maintain and operate that project for its duration, for its life. We want to make sure that people not only own it, but that they can operate and maintain it, otherwise it'll fall into disrepair. So that's the third thing. The fourth thing is we want to make sure that local leaders and local people are engaged. We want to make sure that we have buy-in, not only from the leaders, but from the people. They have to see the value of the project. They have to see what it means for them, and they have to understand what it means for their families so that they're engaged. They have to have local buy-in. Number 5 is we challenge them to consider what is it that God has in store for their community. So one of the things we did when we were working and living overseas is that we were working and living cross-culturally, which means we had barriers to overcome with respect to language, dress, culture, customs, the food that we ate, and how we ate the food. And there was a large degree of distrust, if you will, between the people in India and us. And the reason I say that is we didn't look like them, we didn't talk like them, we didn't act like them, we didn't dress like them. And to a large degree, we tried to mitigate those differences by learning the language, eating with our hands like they ate with their hands. We dressed like they did, we lived like they did, and we tried to minimize the number of differences so that there would be more trust. Having said that, there was still a lot of distrust because we were foreigners. So it was important for us to pour our lives into our national partners and national leaders, talking about local leaders, because they were the ones who really could embody the projects, represent the projects, represent the projects. And that really was the key, is having that type of ownership and representation and type of transference, if you will, where we poured our lives into the people of India and gave them the project. It literally was a partnership, but they took ownership of it. It became their project. And that is really what allowed the project to be sustainable and for it to be of them, by them, and for them. Now I'd like to talk about 5 fantastic qualities or essential qualities I believe represent good mentors. Number 1, they need to be knowledgeable in their subject area. Number 2, they need to be patient. Number 3, they need to be insightful to understand what are the needs of their students, if you will, the people that they're trying to teach. They also need to be understanding of the fact that practice makes perfect, mistakes are going to happen, failure is always a prerequisite for success. And then the fifth thing is that they need to have the long vision and perspective. In other words, they need to not be only short-term focused on, for example, the failures of their students. They need to be focused upon the longer objective of what they're trying to accomplish in the life of their pupils, if you will. And if they do those things, if they're knowledgeable, if they're insightful, if they have the long-term focus and perspective, and if they're patient, and if they show their students what to do and how to do it, then their students will learn, they'll grow. And one of the keys about these projects, particularly overseas, but it's the same thing in America as well with any mentor relationship. Theoretically, mentorship is like an unbroken chain of successive relationships where trainers are training other trainers and leaders are creating other leaders. And that happens through relationships, which is so important. And if that happens, and if we pour our lives into others, then not only will we deeply impact individuals, but will deeply impact large numbers of individuals for a long time. Thank you much, everybody, for providing me with an opportunity to share many of the lessons learned that I picked up in India, and also many of the essential qualities of being a good mentor. Thank you very much.
Excellent. Thank you so much. We will now ask the timer to give us a 1 minute time starting now for all of our members and guests to privately chat Scott your thoughts and comments on his speech. And it also gives us our evaluator time to complete their evaluation. 1 minute, please.
Okay, well, I'm setting my clock here. Okay. All right. So for the timer report, Scott, you did a great job keeping time, and your actual time was 7 minutes and 12 seconds. The allotted time for the speech was 5 to 7 minutes. So because of the 30 seconds of grace at that period at the end of the topic, you are within the time frame. So well done, Scott. Really appreciate your speech and your input, and a really interesting topic. Thank you.
Excellent. Thank you, Aaron. Okay, we're now going to go into the I part of our pie, which is impromptu speaking. It is our table topics. Our table topics master of the day is Spencer. Before we introduce Spencer, I just want to check with him. Spencer, are you ready? I know you have taken this role on last minute. We appreciate you for doing this, and we're here to help you. Are you ready?
I believe so. I have
Excellent.
all 365 table topics, so I should be able to find one we haven't used before.
Okay, I'm passing this portion of the meeting over to you, Mr. Table Topics Master Spencer. It's all yours.
So our table topics are impromptu speeches for those of you who haven't done them before. And we just simply pick a member or a guest and they give a 1 to 2 minute long speech on the topic that I'm going to select. So we're going to go with one of our guests here. Suzanne, you can be our first table topic speaker. And the question for you is going to be, what makes you smile about the winter holidays? And one more thing too, I'm also the grammarian, and the word of the day is verity, which means a true principle or belief, especially one of fundamental importance. And when used in a sentence, you would say something like the eternal verities of life. And so that's for y'all to use and interject in your table topics, in your impromptu speeches as well. So, Suzanne, do you have any questions?
Spencer, can you give me that word again, please?
Yes, ma'am. It is verity, a true principle or belief, especially one of fundamental importance.
All right. I have 1 to 2 minutes, correct?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. What makes me smile during this holiday time would just be the absolute joy of Christ within me, would be the first thing. The joy of Christ within me, the fact that I have an opportunity to bless other people through outreach, through the ministry, the opportunity to gather people together, my family, friends, for different types of events makes me smile during this season. The opportunity to see my grandchildren and but the true eternal veritas, the true value of this season that is fundamental is the joy, the peace, the good tidings and good news that Jesus was born, and he was born for all people. That brings such a foundation to my life, but to this season, especially as we go forth in this season and we share the good news and we share the joy of the holiday season, the Christmas season. We encounter people and we give them, by our love and our joy, we give them that veritas and the opportunity to grab a hold of something different than they see the rest of the year, and especially something enough that we will encounter them and they will encounter us, and there will be something different that they'll grab a hold of and say, I want more of that. What makes these people different? That is what gives me such joy this time of year, to share Jesus.
All right. Amen. Thank you, Susan. That was great. So next we'll do Alex. Are you there, Alex?
Yes. Can I skip this, please? Being first, I've never done this before, so
Yeah, for sure.
I can definitely participate next meeting.
All right, sounds good. Okay, let's have Kelly do it then. Kelly, I'll ask you the same question. What is it that makes you smile about the winter holidays?
Wow, it is with great verity that I can say it is absolutely my relationship with my Savior, who is Jesus Christ. So this is a very special time for me. And I have a unique story in that I had a holiday, Christmas, that there was no one in my life. My son was in jail. My other son wasn't speaking to me. And I remember sitting there and feeling so desperate and so alone and at the end of me. And the next year, it was the same. My older son was back in jail. My younger son was staying with another family, and there was something a little different. He invited me to breakfast at their house, but I didn't know these people, and I felt weird. And why wouldn't my kid want to be with me on Christmas and at our house? And so something was definitely different with me, though. I had began to develop a relationship with Christ, and I learned that my attitude of gratitude was what was truly important. And so that day, I went and had breakfast at a stranger's family's house so I could see my son for an hour. And then I visited other families and I blessed them with gifts of toys and for their kids. And I just did that all day long, people that I barely knew. But it was still to this day the best Christmas I have ever had. And nothing in my circumstances had changed. It was all about who I was in relationship with, and that made these relationships worth it.
All right, thank you very much for sharing that. Okay, Elizabeth, did we want to do one or two more, or do you want me to pass it back to you now?
You would ask the timer if we have enough time. And usually what we do, Spencer, is you look at the agenda and it gives you the time. And if we look at table topics, it should end at 9:13. We have plenty of time, and that is due in part to two speakers dropping out at the last minute. Therefore, you have until 9:13. Isn't that great?
Yeah, for sure. Okay, so let's do Renee next. And
Spencer, let me amend that real quick. We do have to leave 5 minutes at the end for Scott to do his last presentation. So let's do one more table topic.
All right, sounds good. So let's do Renee. And Renee, I'm going to change the question up a little bit on you, but I'll keep it Christmas themed or holiday themed. So Renee, what is your most beloved childhood memory of the winter holidays? And the word of the day is, again, verity, a true principle or belief, especially one of fundamental importance.
You're on mute, Renee. Okay.
My fondest childhood memory of the holidays has to do with the occasions when my parents would take my brother and me to visit Santa in the department stores. My family lived on Long Island, New York when I was growing up. And we enjoyed our visits to see Santa at department stores that are no longer in existence. Alexander's, Corvette's, Gertz. At each of these stores, we would visit with my parents. The visits were for different purposes, but as soon as we would see Santa, my brother and I would leap for joy and implore our parents to let us stand in line so we could go and sit on Santa's lap, talk to Santa, and have our pictures taken with Santa. And I will never, ever forget all of those wonderful years as a youngster when we would go to these stores and see Santa and really have that magical belief that Santa was listening to us. Santa knew we were nice, not naughty, and that every time we talked to a different Santa at a different store, we knew that we were going to get what we were asking for, and Christmas Day was going to be magical because of our interactions with Santa in a way that truly established verity. Thank you.
All right. I was thinking it over and that works. that works, that use of verity. Okay. So now I believe I hand it back to Aaron to give the timers report on how everybody is doing.
Thank you, Spencer. So for the table topics for the day, we had Suzanne. She came in at a time of 1:39. Kelly came in at a time of 2 minutes. And Renee came in at a time of 2 minutes and 12 seconds. With all those times, everyone came in within their allotted time limit. I believe that's all I need to have the report on this. Thank you, Spencer.
Spencer, I'll take it from here.
I'm sorry, Elizabeth. Yes,
It's okay. I would now like to bring it over to our final part of the pie, the E, the evaluation part. I'll be turning this over to our general evaluator, who is our president, Scott Livingston. Scott, it's all yours.
Okay. Greetings, Madam Toastmaster, fellow Toastmasters, and guests. The purpose of the general evaluator is to evaluate everything that takes place throughout the meeting. During the meeting, I will take notes on everything that happens and doesn't happen. I will evaluate each participant on the meeting program and look for good examples of preparation, organization, delivery, enthusiasm, observation, and performance of duties. At the end of the meeting, I will give my report. So just think of me as a kind of an elf on the shelf for Toastmasters. Thank you, Madam Toastmaster. And with that, would you like for me to go ahead and call on the...
I have a quick question. Do we have a poll, Scott?
I do not have one prepared. No, let's just use the chat.
So let's go ahead and do that now. We will now send our votes to our ballot counter.
Okay, it looks like Kelly's got a question. Kelly? Okay. Okay, Kelly's
No,
the
I was
ballot.
just saying I am the ballot counter.
Right,
So I'm
okay.
sending them directly to me.
Okay. Okay, just a quick question, Toastmaster. I understand the general evaluator is supposed to introduce the evaluators for each speaker.
Yes,
Okay, go ahead. Mhm.
the general evaluator is introduced first for the evaluation part. And the first thing that you do is you call on the timer to ask what the minutes are for the evaluators. And then you introduce the first, second, and third evaluator, if there are.
Right.
And then after that, you call for a grammarian, an odd counter report. And then you, at the very end, you give your general evaluation report.
Right. So rather than voting now,
we always vote after each segment. We did not vote for best speaker because there was only one speaker. Therefore, by default, Scott, you are best speaker of the day. After our I part, impromptu, we must always vote for the best table topic speaker.
okay, so that's what we're
And the
voting
reason
for.
why we do that is because each segment needs to vote right after the speakers, because everything starts blending together at the very end. And also it saves time and it gives the ballot counter a reprieve of having to figure out which vote does this go to. And therefore, throughout the meeting, the ballot counter has time to tally everything. And in case if there is a tie, to break the tie. And then by the end of the meeting, the ballot counter can give whomever is announcing the winner, the winners, instead of at the last minute trying to figure out who won. So after each segment, we always vote.
Okay, so now we're voting for best impromptu speaker.
Correct.
Okay, everybody, so send your private chats to Kelly King.
And then we just need a timer report for the evaluator.
Okay, Aaron.
I'm sorry, I didn't time you, Scott. I was voting and filling out my evaluation form. My
No,
apologies.
it's okay. Aaron, all you do is you just share how many minutes the evaluator has
The
to
limits.
evaluate.
Right.
Oh, I'm sorry. Oh,
That's
the
okay.
evaluator has, hold up real quick. 2 to 3 minutes to make their evaluation of the speaker.
Right. Okay, so with that, I believe, Toastmaster, that I will call upon the evaluator for my speech, right? Okay, yes. So Aaron, back to you. You're the evaluator for my speech. So please, I will time you. How about that, okay?
That'd be great. Thank you.
All right.
Thank you, Scott. So the speech I'm evaluating is the important lessons I learned from mentors in India, presented by Scott today. I really thought the speech was really, really good. Interesting topic, mentoring and in India. I'm really interested in other cultures, and it's always fascinating to learn the differences in other cultures, and then how some things that carry through no matter what culture you're in, like mentoring. So that was really interesting to me. The speech, I couldn't tell you didn't have notes. I thought you did a really great job with that. The structure was really good. You excelled with the eye contact. You were really looking into the camera. I didn't sense you were looking away at all. Your gestures were good. You were using your hand gestures really well. I didn't hear any catchphrases like the I just used right there. So I really felt like you did a great job in those areas. you may want to work on adding a story or a narrative into the structure of the story. I thought the content was really good, but I think a narrative or some sort of a story to kind of tie those examples together or kind of bring life to those, they really that would really help. And then another thing you might want to work on is maybe something to be more engaging with the audience. I thought the content was good. It felt like a delivery of topics of content, and didn't really engage the audience as well as it could have, maybe. So maybe something you want to work on that. Then to challenge yourself, I thought your pacing was good in your presentation, but as a challenge, you might want to focus on some changing of intentionally changing the variety, or slow it down some, maybe add a longer pause as a dramatic pause, even to draw people in or emphasize a point or something like that. So I thought you did a great job. The one thing I wasn't quite sure about was the topic was to mention an experience you had as being a protege as a mentor. So I thought that the comments of the topic were really good in terms of the how to and what you look for in building a mentoring program. I don't recall hearing the experience of being a protege in a mentoring relationship. But those are the things I heard, and I think it was really, like I said, really great topic, really great information, and really appreciate your speech, Scott. Thanks. And Scott, I think it's back to you.
Okay. Hold on. Okay, with that, let me call upon the grammarian for a report, the odd counter for a report. So let's go to the grammarian first. Would you please give us a report for the day?
Yeah, for sure. Give me just one sec. Let me pull up my thing.
Yeah, take your time. After that, we'll go to the odd counter. Then we'll also go to the timer for the report regarding the evaluator. So everybody just be ready. Go ahead, grammarian.
Okay. So as a grammarian, I was supposed to pay attention to words and phrases you guys were saying, see if anything seemed weird or out of place, or if words or phrases were used incorrectly. I really didn't see any of that. I thought that everybody did a great job, speaking proper English. So everyone did a great job there. And it's also my job to keep track of the word of the day. And so our 3 table topic speakers, they all used the word of the day to a certain extent. So Renee, she got it. She got it right at the end there. It worked. It fit the definition. Suzanne was close, but I think you accidentally said veritas instead of verity. And I didn't even know what that word meant. I've heard it before. I had to Google it. But veritas is it's a Latin phrase meaning truth conquers all things. So that's a really cool one. Maybe we could use that another day. And then Kelly used verity. I'm not sure if you used it in quite the correct context. I think the sentence that you used it in was something like, I say this with great verity. And I think that may work in it could work if you understand the context, but I think with verity being a noun, it doesn't quite work exactly right. But it was definitely close. And I believe that's it. I believe that's all I have as a grammarian.
Okay, fantastic. Thank you, Spencer. Appreciate it. After that, I believe it's the odd counter. Would you please give us your report?
Yes, Mr. General Evaluator, I carefully noted everyone's use of their favorite words. Are we ready for this? Grammarian, 5 ands, 4 buts, 5 so's, 4 and ers, and 1 double tongue click called I think. Our speaker number 1, favorite word, filler word is and at 7, and 1 double clutch of there. Table topics master, 1 and, 2 so's, 1 like. table topic speaker, Suzanne, 4 ands and 1 double clutch of we give them, and again at such and such. Our table topic speaker number 2, Kelly, 10 ands, 2 buts, 6 so's. Also the word in that and that. Our table topic speaker 3, Renee, 8 ands, 1 but, 1 so, 1 double clutch, that, and another is really and that. Our evaluator number 1, Aaron, 3 ands, 2 buts, 3 so's, 1 like, 1 double clutch, as it, 16 and ers, 1 other, I think, and I really. Back to you, Mr. General Evaluator.
Okay, thank you very much, Toastmaster. At this time, I'd like to call for the timer report for the evaluators. And since I'm the one that timed the evaluator, which was Aaron, he qualified. It was just under 3 minutes. I think it was 2 minutes and 43 seconds. At this time, we would usually vote for the best evaluator, but Aaron clearly was the best evaluator, so I don't think we need to spend time voting. Woohoo, Aaron. Way to go. And I would like to get some of the suggestions in writing if you would, Aaron. I was taking notes, but if you could email it to me, that'd be great, because that was some fantastic feedback. I appreciate it.
Yeah, I'll fill out the form and I'll send it back to you with the
Okay.
suggestion.
Okay, yeah, thank you. I appreciate it. Valuable feedback. At this time, I'm going to give an evaluation of the meeting as a whole. Aaron, if you would, time me, please. I know I don't want to speak too quickly or too long. Okay. General Evaluator. Before the meeting, the room and equipment was set up on time. In fact, it was set up at 8 a.m. Guests were welcomed upon arrival. Yes. Guests were informed about Toastmasters and the meeting format. Yes, we did all that. In terms of meeting opening, was the presiding officer prepared and organized? Yes. Did the meeting start on time? Yes. Was everyone properly introduced? Yes. Was the Toastmaster properly introduced? Yes. Regarding the Toastmaster, did the Toastmaster fill all roles prior to the meeting starting? Yes, she did. Now, please note, everybody, Alicia was our original Toastmaster. She tried to fill the roles, but still, as of this morning, unable to fill the roles. But Elizabeth stepped up, and filled the roles right before the meeting. So great job, Elizabeth, and fantastic example for us to follow. Did the Toastmaster introduce and explain the meeting's theme? Yes. Toastmaster introduced the General Evaluator? Yes. Toastmaster properly introduced the Topics Master? Yes. General Evaluator. Did the General Evaluator properly introduce the Grammarian? I think I did. Was the Grammarian prepared, and did they introduce their role? Yes. Did the Grammarian properly introduce word of the day? Yes. Was the word of the day challenging, appropriate, and fitting for the theme of the meeting? Yes. Did the General Evaluator properly introduce the timer? I think I did. Was the timer prepared, and did they introduce their role within the allotted time? Yes. Did the General Evaluator properly introduce the odd counter? I think I did. Was the odd counter prepared, and did they introduce their role within the allotted time? Yes. Was the General Evaluator's report given? Yes. Topics Master, was the purpose and timing of the table topics properly explained? Yes. Was the topic selected appropriate, and did it fit the meeting theme? Most certainly. Did the Topics Master call on people who did not have a meeting role first during table topics? Yes. Well done. Were guests invited to participate? Yes. Well done. Did the Topics Master track time to ensure the meeting stayed on schedule? Yes. Was control properly returned to the Toastmaster? Yes. And at this time, I'd like to thank the Grammarian, the odd counter, each evaluator, the timer. I'd like to thank the Toastmaster for their roles. I'd like to, of course, thank the speakers. I'm talking about the prepared speakers, but also the impromptu speakers. I think you all did a great job. We're probably running just a little bit late, but we've had a meeting chock full of activity, chock full of good speeches. Great job, everybody. Back to you, Madam Toastmaster.
Excellent. Thank you, Mr. General Evaluator. The Toastmaster would normally announce the winner, but our ballot counter is Kelly, and I do not see the winner. Therefore, Kelly, I'm going to pass it to you to announce our best table topics.
Thank you, Elizabeth. Best table topics was Kelly King.
Yay!
Woohoo.
Thank you so much. I would now, normally the table topics master would present awards and then the presiding officer is invited back, and I'm now going to invite Scott to close out the meeting. Scott, it's all yours.
Thank you very much. We may run 1 or 2 minutes over, but my goal is to move quickly and perhaps close on time. Let's see what we can do with the time that we have. Give me just a second to get my page set up here. So today, at this time, what we're going to do is welcome Renee Griffin as our new club secretary. Some of you may recall that Luann Newman had been our club secretary, but for personal reasons and for the fact that she accepted a new job, she had some things that she needed to address, and so she resigned from her position as club secretary. So we certainly thank Luann for her service. She did a lot of things that were important to get us back on track. And today, we're going to install Renee Griffin as our new club secretary, and we look forward to many of the great things that Renee is going to do. So this time, please recognize Renee Griffin. Just notice that she's the one about whom we're talking. I'm here today to install Toastmaster Griffin as our new club secretary and to prepare her for the challenges that lie ahead. Her challenge is to make this club strong, to make it dedicated to helping people from all walks of life to speak in an effective manner, listen with sensitivity, and think creatively. I will ask Renee Griffin to hold a gavel, and I'll show you a picture in just a second. Here's the gavel. Where'd my gavel go? Here's my gavel. So here's the gavel. I'm asking Renee to imagine that she's holding this gavel in her hands as a symbol of leadership, as I briefly describe the challenges that she must meet and the responsibilities that she must fulfill. As secretary, Renee, you will take minutes at club and executive committee meetings. You will organize and maintain club records and files. You will update and distribute membership rosters. You will update the club and officer list at Toastmasters International. You will understand basic parliamentary procedures, order supplies as needed, remain current with a leader letter, and attend club officer training at least once a year and preferably twice a year. Will you perform these duties to the best of your ability?
Yes, Toastmaster Livingston, I will perform these duties to the best of my ability. And I apologize for being frozen. I don't know why.
That's okay. Thank you very much. The gavel is a symbol of the power and authority given to you by the membership of this club. Use it wisely and with restraint. You are a member of our team as well as a leader. A team is more than a collection of people. It's an emotional force rooted in the feelings, thoughts, and actions of all members with the common goal of achievement, sharing, and mutual support. Work with your team members, our team, our club officers, to create a healthy, dynamic club, a club of which everyone will be proud and currently is proud. Will you, Madam Secretary, accept this challenge and perform your duties to the best of your abilities?
Toastmaster Livingston, I will accept these challenges and perform to the best of my abilities.
Thank you. It is now my pleasure to declare Toastmaster Renee Griffin formally installed as our new club secretary. Okay. The growth and development of the Toastmasters program. Hold on just a second, guys. The growth and development of the Toastmasters program and League City Toastmasters depends largely upon the actions of this group. On your honor, I'm talking now to all the members of Toastmasters here. Do you pledge to individually and collectively stand by this club, live with it, and work with it throughout the coming year?
I do.
I do.
as well. Everybody else on board?
I do.
Yes, I do.
I
I do.
do.
Fantastic. Well, we're in it together and we're in it to win it. All right, welcome. Thank you, Renee. Glad you're on board. Look forward to your service, and you've already been an asset to our club. So we're glad that you're here and glad that you're serving as our secretary. Fantastic. Just a couple of closing comments, particularly because we have some guests. One of the things we do in Toastmasters is we provide constructive feedback to one another. We allow ourselves to be placed in uncomfortable situations so that we learn how to think on our feet, to be creative, to speak effectively, communicate, and lead. And it's by doing these things, and often in uncomfortable situations, that we learn to excel. So it might seem a little awkward that we're calling upon our guests to speak, but we kind of do that to each other all the time. So just kind of get used to it. I will say that having been a member of Toastmasters for a year, maybe a year and a half, I've learned a lot of things. I've noticed that my anxiety level has gone down. And even though it sounds like we have a lot of ahs, ers, and ums, and we pick at one another about what to do better and all that, at the end of the day, I will say from personal experience, when I have had speaking roles, whether it's in front of city council or members of the public, I've noticed my level of comfort being a lot greater than it used to ever be before. So even though we pick at one another and we challenge one another to rise above our current level of ability, you will notice as you participate in Toastmasters and go through pathways and speak at club meetings, you will definitely notice the progress. Maybe it's baby steps, but after a few months, you will most certainly notice the progress. And that's why we're in Toastmasters. With that, I'm going to close out the meeting, guys, because it's 9:33. We will have our next meeting at 8:30 in the morning on Friday, December the 18th. Per the comments by Toastmaster Ruiz this morning, please sign up in advance. Please confirm your roles in advance. Please be prepared so that our meetings will continue to be extraordinary and that we will learn things and benefit from the experience and the feedback that we give one another. So with that, guys, if y'all need anything, email me separately, and we'll see you in a couple of weeks. Bye, everybody.
Bye.
Hey, Scott, you didn't happen to have a minute, did you?
Sure, I'll hang on. I'll hang around. I'm going to stop the recording.